Hi folks, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Today's episode, we're continuing with a trio of episodes which are focusing on sort of a modern military to military fantasy type of campaign. Today's episode specifically is on Modern Ops, which is a Savage Worlds product provided to me by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. This is initially for their Showdown rule set. Now what Showdown was, it was a mass battles rule set that you could still use almost the exact same system that you use in the Savage Worlds role-playing game. Now, where the first in our trio of episodes, Strike Force 7, dealt with the military fantasy sort of game, Modern Ops, there's not much fantastic about it. This is a very lovingly detailed conversion of a whole bunch of modern military forces. Now, realize when I say modern, this was initially published a couple years ago, 2005, so things might have updated a little bit in the meantime, but still, everything in here is very relevant. What you have is you have basic training, sort of like some of the rules specific for Showdown, but again, those could easily be converted into your Savage Worlds game. Deployment, which is some of the specific setting rules, gear, the different types of characters you can play. Then there's an entire chapter on coalitions, which is, in essence, all of the people that you can fight with. There are detailed rules, character blocks, and equipment for the United States military forces, Marines, Army, Air Force, Navy, then the Russian Federation military, United Kingdom, Germany, and finally some law enforcement. From there you get into some of the opposition you could be fighting, specifically focusing in the Middle East sort of setting. There are rules for the Al-Qaeda, Somalia, and Iraq. Some more details on firearms and explosives, a sort of a generator for specific military type adventures. Again, I want to reiterate that this was initially written for the point of view of a tabletop miniatures military simulation. But you can, and we certainly have in several of our campaigns already, pulled out huge chunks of this and used these as allies, antagonists, all sorts of things for a Savage Worlds role-playing game system. What is this product good for? Well, aside from the fact that you quite literally have a host of information on people you could be fighting with and against, military vehicles, specific military rules, this is a nice conversion to apply to a modern military or military fantasy, which is sort of your G.I. Joes, your Mask, that sort of thing. Not the 80s cartoon, not the questionable movie quality thing with Jim Carrey, that you could easily apply to your role-playing games. And to be very honest with you, this has been one of the most valuable resources we have had for our role-playing games. If you like the modern era and if you like the Savage Worlds system, you should really consider getting your hands on this rules expansion. One, because you can use the Showdown rules. Now, the specific rules that these were applied for are sort of outdated. They have recently launched a mass playtest of the new Showdown rules, which you could very easily take a look at, and it's very similar. I think the main difference is in true point building. Or you could, like we have done, stick this in your role-playing game, you wouldn't even know the difference. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.